Hey, what's up, guys? This next review is on The Cure's P Word. The album's completely opposite of The Word. Way completely opposite. Um, I guessing they just did it as a joke, The Cure. Yeah, The Cure is one of my favorite bands of all time. As Ricky, he likes The Cure. More of the grittier stuff he likes. The punk rockness of it.
For more backstory on The Cure's album, 1979, The Cure released 17 Seconds. Right after they done interviews and shows around the world. Not really in America yet. Not really like big, but I think with 17 Seconds and the song of Forest got a little bit big in the US a little, but not till the Kiss Me album. But when they had to work on another album, Robert Smith had to deal with his grandparents um, being gone. So with that, he wrote Faith in 1981, um, which is dark. It's gothic. It's something that I will review another time. It's gothic, but not existential and dread as the next album, or the album we're talking about in this video, which came out in 1982. During this period, The Cure's been very like exhausted, been famous around the England, the UK, and just around. The album came out, there was this interview of The Cure that really did spoke out to me, that told what or how they felt during making the album. Because I can tell from, or if you even seen it yourself, which I'll put in the description, Robert Smith in this interview seems exhausted and tired just by everything.
A lot of people subjugate through necessity because they have to either work or it's generally work. I mean, there's no or. Once you start to work and life becomes a struggle for existence, which I mean in England is the most prevalent thing anyway. Once you stop to reason why you're bothering to go out to work to earn money, to eat, to go out at the weekends, enjoy yourself. I mean that whole thing. As soon as you're trapped in that, unless you make a conscious effort to break away from it.
But it's very interesting to see in this interview. Um, but he does feel so real in this interview too. Like it's um, not even just like telling like how he felt at that moment, but feels so real that it can be meant to anybody from any country, any time. Like it does feel real. Like we do have to worry about what we eat, how we go, what we do, and we can't just, it's interesting. It's an interesting existential questions. And that whole interview also goes to show that with this album that they were going to come out with months after this interview, is that it was going to be something so existential and dread, but yet so relatable to other people. I also do recommend to this other this YouTube video, but like another Cure video Pretty much the same topic I'm talking about right now, but I would say way better. But I do recommend his videos on just albums and bands in general. It's really interesting. But he does give more detail on the whole Cure backstory of this
But
album.
this album is interesting. One of the first tracks is 100 Years, a song about the 100-Year War with England and I forgot what other country. But it's very interesting. Um, and the opening of this song is so powerful, so interesting. Of the lyrics, it doesn't matter if we all die, which is very bleak and dark. That follows up with the whole album. Minimal drums and shrieking guitars in this song is so amazing, but yet builds up on the mood of gloomy darkness. So the second track is called Short Term Effect, a song about taking drugs and substance abuse. And basically the pain of using them. But yeah, again, like this whole album is very dark, gritty, adult issues. Also, and then the next song is The Hanging Garden. The Hanging Garden and both Hanging Garden more tame song. I mean, it is dark, but it's more tamed compared to the other tracks. And the music video for it, I do like it because it does match the vibe of the album, which is just, talking about death, darkness, and substance abuse, which is really interesting. Oh no, the fourth track of the song on the album is Siamese Twins, is also a dark song, which is a song about, I think it's about drugs and how it's treating like a lover, which is interesting. And the fifth track on the album is Figurehead, which I think it's about depression. I forgot what it is exactly, the lyrics, but it's very like dread and gloomy. Again, this album shouldn't be for people who are like super depressed, because I feel like they'll just stay in the depressed state. But it's a really good album though. It's very dark but very interesting of its time. I don't know if I got it wrong or right, but I think A Strange Days was also a single. But again, this one and Figurehead are the tame ones. And I think Strange Days is also just about depression, but again, some of the Cure songs are kind of hard to pinpoint, but at the same time, Cure fans can pinpoint like the exact lyric, not exact lyrics, but like a similar meaning to how Robert Smith writes these songs, how it's like interpreted differently, and how like the Cure fans can interpret those lyrics to something that means something. And then the song Cold is very cold with its synths and its minimalistic drums, that you feel you'll feel the song Cold. And it's supposed to represent, like, it's about substance abuse and using drugs. Again, it's one of my favorite tracks on this album. I do have another favorite track on this album. It's called Temptation 2. I love the drums in that. It's an underrated song because no one mentions it, but also no one mentions it because it's a song that they were gonna add on this album, but they end up not doing it. I think that song is on the Rarities on the CD that I have. So I do have a whole collection of Cure stuff, Cure CDs and stuff like that. Last track on the album is the self-titled P Word. What's it called? There's no lyrics, nothing. It's just sound. And then the last lyrics of the song is, I gotta fight this sickness, looking for a cure. I must fight this sickness. I must find the cure. Which I'm guessing it's the sickness, or the whole song. It's probably about like being depressed and not having ambition to do anything. But it's very interesting, very dark, gloomy, and like no happiness at the end of this record. Which, to point it out, this record was supposed to be the last Cure record, and it's kind of a pattern with Robert Smith. Is like he's like, this is the last record, and then a year or two after, he makes another one. But yeah, this is one of my favorite records of all time. Though it's sad and depressing, I do think it's fascinating and interesting in music history. Even in the post-punk and new wave era, I am happy to have this in my collection, the CD version. I did find it at FYE, and I'm glad I found it. Oh yeah, here's the background. It's very, very, very interesting. Because they were wearing, like, they're in the front cover. Little Tall Hers, Simon and Robert Smith. They're just wearing masks. But yeah, there's less tracks. I would say this is like the least tracks on a Cure album, which is like 8, because normally you do at least 11 or 12. But I do think it's very influential as an album in general, where it takes the emotion that not a lot of people go to and record it. I hope you guys like this video. I will be doing more Cure stuff, music stuff with Ricky. You get to do more music stuff with Ricky. But yeah, I hope you guys like this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and until next time, bye guys.